It isn't about women, it's about diversity of thinking, understanding, practice. We asked what were the barriers and obstacles to women participating in technical trades in the electricity sector. The results were quite surprising. The statement that really stood in my mind was the one that I'd rather have nobody working here than a woman. So that focused the board's mind very much on what we needed to do to actually ensure we had better representation in our sector. And we launched the program in 2011 at the Beehive with the then Minister of Women's Affairs, Pansy Wong, and we had a lot of support for the program. We've evolved since then. We created our brand and our ultimate identity. It's all about women, wahine toa, staying strong.
The women who have come through in the early years have just been stunning successes and have built a increasing wave of acceptance that, to use the phrase that came before, girls can do anything, and they most certainly have. So that is increasingly normalising, I think, the idea that it's not a big deal to be thinking about women joining us in these trade and technical roles. They show themselves to be good, if not better, than what was expected, and hire the best person. Those sorts of messages are just becoming more and more common, which is very gratifying.
Just recently we have again given the program a nudge, and we're now calling it Women in Infrastructure. And the background with the Women in Infrastructure, we have run over the last month a program called Girls in High Vis.
This has been a long-held, male-dominated industry, and what it's doing through the initial cohort that we took on, so the initial 6 women that we took on at North Power, is slowly making people aware of the possibilities. And so they go home and have conversations with their children and with their nieces and with their sisters about the possibility of working in this industry. That it hasn't been the blokes up the poles that we've had the challenges with. To a large extent, it's actually been at that middle layer, and that's been about challenging stereotypes and just what they've known. They haven't had exposure to a different way of being, and if you haven't had exposure to a different way of being, you don't know what's possible. And so that's really where we've needed to put some effort and focus. And so Connexis have really put the horsepower behind it, they've put the resourcing behind it, they've conceptualised the ideas, they've consulted with industry, and they've allowed us to contribute by saying, look, we think these are good ideas, and these are the sorts of things we could do to appeal to a wider and more diverse group of employees.
Don't give them any special treatment just because they're ladies. They fit in as part of the crew, and they're expected to do what all trainee line mechanics are expected to do as part of their training. They bring balance to the crews, they've got a different way of thinking and approaching hazards and that sort of thing. They've all got their differences, and have had to apply what's generally a man's job, the physical aspects of it, apply different thinking, which has made us think about how we do our work as well.
When I did jump on board, it was with the Ultimit program. So obviously the boys have got to know what we can do and what we might need help with and all that sort of stuff. But Ultimit pretty much just encouraged all of us to get on board and just do the best we can. And I think that they've really publicised what it is and how much of a big milestone it is for women to get into the industry.
We're over the crusade now, and isn't that interesting? The first 3 years really were a crusade, and it was about a belief, but now we're at the point of course we should employ women. Why wouldn't we employ women? Look what women bring to the organisation. We think differently, we are different, we socialise our crews differently, and we are seeing more women looking to come to us rather than us having to attract them.